Welcome to Some Say I'm Gifted, where we teach you the magic of walking in your spiritual gifts and how it can help you navigate this crazy life, and helping you understand that even though we're in this world, we are not of it. So take a deep breath, relax your shoulders, and let's get real.
Hello, world. Welcome to Some Say I'm Gifted. I always want to say some say we're gifted, but it's some say I'm gifted. Because the reason we do this is because it's a saying, right?
Yeah, it's a saying amongst all of us.
Yeah, all of us. Because every time we say something like, oh my God, you were right. Well, some say I'm gifted. Not that we're rude or condescending. Anyways, I'm Tess. Hi. And this is Morgan and Danielle.
Hey guys.
And we are doing a series, a tri-series.
Mm-hmm. 3-piece series.
Yes, 3Ps. Of interviews, and we've done Danielle and Morgan. Now it's my turn. But before we do it, I've got questions for y'all.
Questions for us?
Y'all and our audience, because y'all can like, subscribe, share, comment, review.
Email us.
Yes. At somesaywe'regifted@gmail.com. Also find us on Facebook and Instagram. Some say I'm gifted. Anyways, what is your favorite cartoon character?
Snoopy.
Snoopy's my mom's favorite character.
I love Snoopy. If you've ever seen a picture of baby Snoopy online, let me tell you, it's the cutest thing ever.
Aww.
Okay? So, Snoopy for me. That's fine.
Scooby-Dooby-Doo.
Oh.
For me. I
Really?
love Scooby. Yeah, definitely. Like, it was my favorite TV show growing up. My grandma always pre-recorded it. Like, we didn't have cable TV, so my grandma would record it on VHS and send them home with me.
That's hilarious.
Oh my
my
God.
grandmother did the same.
Really?
Yeah, not with Scooby-Doo, but yeah, with other things. Mine, cartoon movie, cartoon show. I could go on for days about this. I have different levels of my life. We're going to go with Pepper Ann, Ed, Ed, and Eddie, Daria. You know, we'll leave it there. Daria is one of my favorites. Na, 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 na. Today on Six Odd World. Probably don't know what I'm talking about. I love
I'm
Daria.
sorry.
You need to watch Daria. Y'all need to get in tune with it because she's just like,
I feel like we're going to learn a lot about you today. And a lot
Yeah,
of the
I
things that you
feel like we are going to learn. So, I've got some questions for you.
Mm-hmm.
Where
Bring
are
them
you
on.
from?
Where am I from? I was born, raised in Johnson City, Tennessee. No, I was born in a hospital in Johnson City, Tennessee. I lived the majority of my life in and around Johnson City, except for about a year or so we lived in Atlanta. But yeah, Johnson City is where I'm born, raised.
Did you go to school growing up? What was your school situation like?
Yeah, so when I was 5, first day kindergarten, August 29th, 1990. That's a memory for you. I was diagnosed with acute lymphatic leukemia, which in the early 90s was a big thing. But the night before I was diagnosed, a wonderful doctor, Dr. Kowinski, moved here from Memphis. He was at St. Jude's.
Wow.
And so I didn't have to go to St. Jude's, which is a huge thing. I was his first case he diagnosed. He's now retired. Yeah, and it was a rough start. It was a rocky road for my first day of school. So to be honest with you, I think I had like a trigger the rest of my life with going to school. I never wanted to go to public schools. I went, but I didn't want to go. And I mean, I'm not bragging, but it was quite impressive that my senior year I missed 152 days excused absences.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, I was a little bit of a rebel. So yes, I went to school, and then I took several years off. And I went to beauty school, and I traveled and went to Scotland, and I went to Bonnaroo, and I followed bands, and then I decided I'm going to go to college, and I did. My dad was a Marine, and I wanted to be, the 3 things I wanted to be growing up was a teacher, a doctor, or a stripper.
Very different things.
And I had these things called portacasts, which are like little metal boxes that have like tubing that goes to your heart for medicine, and they put them all on my chest. So my mom, I think I'd said it so much before I'd got cancer, she was like, put them all around her boobs so she can't.
Oh, it can't be a
Because I'm
stripper.
pretty screwed up, you know what I mean? So my dad was a Marine, and he was like, why don't you get a job? You love traveling. Why don't you get a job as a teacher on a military base outside of the country?
Oh, wow.
So then you're on American soil, but you can travel, you get the military benefits. So that's what I was going to school for, to be a teacher. So I had a major in elementary education and a minor in English. I was going to Tusculum College, which is a tiny little college in Tennessee, Greenville, Tennessee. And then I went and transferred to ETSU, East Tennessee State University. And I was in my third year getting ready to go into student teaching. And I got swine flu.
You got swine flu?
Yeah, swine flu. And it turned into walking pneumonia.
Oh, gosh.
And I say this because I'm telling you my immune system was down because I got knocked up. Okay, I got pregnant.
Oh, no.
Yeah. And that's only because I was extremely ill. And shortly after I got pregnant, I found out by Thanksgiving, by New Year's, that was around Thanksgiving weekend when that happened. And then by New Year's Eve is when I found I was pregnant. So I went into the next year, which was 2010, knowing I was pregnant. And it was a shock. I didn't immediately, but by March, I was married to my ex-husband, which was, I've got two amazing boys. I love them with everything in me. But I think that God would have given them to me no matter who the father was. So we'll just leave it at that. But shortly after all that, I was still going to school. And then one day I woke up and I was like, that's weird. My head feels weird. It was really soon after I had found out I was pregnant. And then I decided to take some time off from college because I was starting to have some complications. My mom wanted me to go to beauty school. And in the beauty school I was going to, everything was white. You had to wear all white. You had to wear white scrubs. You had to wear all the walls were white. The floor was white. The walls were. Why would you do a beauty school like that? I don't know, because you're going to get color everywhere, right?
Yeah.
And I was sitting there. My cousin was going to beauty school with me at the time, and her name's Jessie. And I said, Jessie, my head is something I can't see. And they rushed me to the doctor. And the doctor, I showed up in a Grateful Dead tie-dye. And he said I was a drug seeker. And I was like, I'm not asking for pain pills. I've got an issue. They referred me to an eye clinic. They got me back there, and I was completely blind, but this much in this eye and this much in this eye. And they had to do, that day, emergency eye surgery. The reason being, my oldest, Stokes, him and his brother are the loves of my life. I mean, I'm absolutely in love with my husband, and he's the love of my life, but it's a different love. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
They gave me purpose. I know that sounds really crazy, but they had to go in and do eye surgery. So I wasn't able to go back to college. I did, after they were born, after I went through my divorce, I did go back. I passed all the tests to get in med school, but it was either go to med school or to come out publicly with my gifts. And I had already been doing training, and I was a sound therapist. I was a QEEG tech. I'd taken several courses and classes and got a certification in Christian counseling by this point. I was a Reiki master, sound therapist, QEEG tech. Is there anything else I've left out? I was studying to be a full-time, pronounced shaman in the Cherokee Nation. So I chose, sometimes I kick myself in the butt for it because I really wanted to be a doctor, but I love what I do too. And I couldn't do what I do and be a doctor. So yeah, I did go to school.
So what are you doing now?
What am I doing now? Sorry. So for work, on a daily basis, I teach classes online to gifted people. Anything, I think the last class we just finished was love jars, which is not a love spell, even though it sounds like it. It's really interesting.
It is really interesting.
It's things that my family has passed down generation to generation on my mom's side, on my dad's side, that actually work. And it's not just like, oh, because we do it, it works. It works, doesn't always. I also counsel. I do it online. I do it in person. Anything from marriage counseling, couples counseling, individual counseling. I'm an ordained minister. That takes that, and being a mom and a wife take most of my days.
So the next question was, are you married? You have kids?
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm married to a wonderful man named Chuck, or his first real name is Charles, but he goes by Chuck. I have two babies, Stokes and Jasper, that I birthed, and then I have George, Noah, and Anna, which are my bonus kids. Or what, I hate saying step kids and bonus kids is like overused. I feel like so I have three extras. You know what I mean? We're a blended family. It's really, our days are crazy. Five kids.
5 kids in the household.
Yeah.
I imagine you cook for them a lot.
Every day, breakfast, lunch, and dinner.
What is your favorite food?
My favorite food? So I think it's food I eat out, okay? because I didn't cook. But then when I get out and I eat food,
It's not as good as yours.
It's not as good as mine. So I'm like, damn.
That's how I am.
But my favorite food, hands down, crawfish etouffee.
Ooh. Especially being down here in the South. Like, I'm sure.
Well, I'm in the South, but I'm in the mountains. So I'm not like, it's hard for me. I mean, there's a place in town.
Creole food.
Yeah, that I can get fresh seafood, but it's pretty expensive. I mean, 7 people in one family expensive.
Yeah.
But McDonald's is expensive with 7 people in one family. So
That's very true. So my next question is, what is something that not a lot of people know about you?
Well, I think a lot of people know that I had a pretty rocky life. And I think that equates to when you're 5 years old and you survive cancer, you think, what's going to stop me? So I'm going to do it all. Whether it's drugs, sex, rock and roll, alcohol, stupid physical jumps from, tops of houses. I didn't care. Pretty extreme. But, you ready? I didn't know that. My husband told me this. You have to have this gene to be able to do this. I don't know how well that's going to be able to see, but you ready?
Oh my gosh.
Oh, yeah, I've seen that when you do that.
It's a lasagna tongue. Yep.
So you have to have a gene to do that?
Yeah.
For those of you who cannot see, she's doing a mouth or a trick with her tongue to like tri-fold it.
Yeah.
It's very interesting.
Lasagna tongue is what we call it in our family. My mom could do it too.
If you
My
can
brother
do that or know anyone that can, let us know, because I cannot. I've never seen anybody do
Really?
that before in my life. No.
It's so easy. But I mean, I can try to teach you, but if you don't have the gene, your tongue won't do it.
Wow.
So, and one would say, in a world where the tongue holds the power of life and death, mine's magical.
Oh my gosh.
So many different ways you could take that.
Oh, yes.
Some
and I meant
nights-
for it to be.
Some might say you're gifted. I don't know.
I don't know. Maybe.
So we've been talking about doing a podcast for years. What made you decide to go ahead and do this podcast?
Well, I did a podcast with my mom. And my mom and I were like more like business partners and best friends with the occasional seasoning of her trying to be my mom. So it was a difficult relationship. I'm not saying I didn't love her and she didn't love me. It was, but it was a difficult relationship. And, there were a lot of similarities we had. But the older I get, the more I realize I'm more like my father than I am my mother. So I think that's even more so why we didn't get along. But I did a podcast with her for years. Mountain Gypsies and Metaphysical Mondays. We did 2. Then we did another one, just Mountain Gypsies. And we did them for years. I mean, to the point that I'd be like, laying in the floor like a toddler, like I don't want to do it because it was just got too much. But I think we had talked about in Danielle's episode, when she met me, I had lost my voice for 2 years. And I was at a place where I didn't think my voice mattered. And then when my mom died, I realized I had to have my voice. While she was in the process of dying, I realized I had to have my voice because I had to fight for her life. She died. She had been diagnosed with breast cancer. Breast cancer was in remission. She had COVID. And that was really hard to navigate without my voice. Just talking to doctors. I mean, use your imagination. It wasn't easy. So I realized that was important. And then I realized that it wasn't just important to have my voice, that people wanted to hear what I had to say. Yeah. And I was like, wait, what? It's not just mom that they wanted, because you get that mindset, or you're maybe even told that you're just like a workhorse. So it becomes different. And then I wanted the world to hear the love that God offers. Christ came to do away with religion. 4 walls, going into a building with 4 walls doesn't make you a Christian. Most churches I go to are creepier than haunted locations I've been to.
Yes.
You know what I mean? And more judging, and more damning. So to me, this is a way to give our voices to the world with God running through it. So we're just conduit, right? We submit to God because by humanistic standards, I will tell you, I'm a ratchet piece of work, bro. I'm questionable. I used to say I cuss, smoke, and I drink. I don't drink anymore and I don't smoke. So I cuss. That's the only edge I've got going for me. I'm 39 and I cuss. Watch out, fellers. So it's a way for me to say, listen, I am definitely not perfect. You name it, more than likely, I've freaking done it. And I know that God loves me because I'm here. Because there's many a times I was supposed to be gone. So the reason I want to do this podcast is because I want people to know and feel that they're not alone, but it's okay to be a human and to be mortal.
So that leads us into our next question. How did we meet? How did you meet Danielle and I?
Ooh, that's a loaded
Well,
question.
it is. I think you asked what I want people to get out of the podcast, right? Did I answer that correctly?
You kind of did.
Okay, I want to make sure. Because,
Yeah.
Do you want to clarify?
Yeah.
Do you want to stand up?
yes, what I want people to get out of the podcast is love, and I also want them to know that it doesn't matter if you're gay, straight, bi, transgender, witch, Wiccan, Satanist, vampire, alien, hybrid. We love you. And reach out to us if you need us. We're here. So, sorry. So the next was... What was
How
it?
did you meet us?
How did I meet you? Okay. Well, I was at a convention in Illinois at a place I like to call Mattoon. Mattoon. It sounds like a spittoon. That's why, I'm from the South. So, and this girl and her mom walked up to me, and she wouldn't speak, and she was a little awkward, and we did work on them the next day, and the next thing I know, they're going with us. And wanting to take classes and learn from us, and we're like, what do we do here? And it was really interesting. So that was 11 years ago, if we found out, and that was Morgan. And we've become so close that we can fight like sisters and then not. And then Danielle, I can remember where I was the first time she called me. My mom had told me about her. Because my mom had moved to Kill Devil Hills. And she said, I'm teaching a class. Can you stay another day? And I was like, I've got 5 kids. I've got to get back. It's fall break's over. They've got school. My husband's got to get back to work. I would love to, but I can't. So she told me she was teaching Reiki 1 to a girl, and she told me all about her. She called me afterwards after teaching and saying, you're going to love her. Y'all are going to get along. And then I knew that she had a lump in her breast, and I knew she was coming home. And we were pretty sure what it was. So, I had tried to reach out to Danielle 2 or 3 times, but I didn't know her last name. So that was hard. There's a lot of Danielles in this world, just in case y'all didn't know.
There are.
And then finally, I was standing in the basement of my house where I live now, and Carolyn had contacted me, and I had lost my voice because now I know it was allergies at the time. We didn't know why. But I'd lost my voice, and Carolyn was texting me, there's this person, she's been wanting to get in touch with you. She's been trying to get in touch with you since your mom passed away. And I think this was like January. It was early in the year. Well, Mom died in February.
It was like...
So it was like May?
May.
Yeah.
Because it wasn't until the summer that I
came
by.
And I was like, what? Why wouldn't you tell me sooner? That was my response. Why would you tell me sooner? I didn't think you... And I was like, just. But Carolyn had been going through a lot.
Yeah, and she probably thought you were going through a bunch and didn't want to burden you with this after your mom died. So
yeah.
So I said, give her my number, and I literally put my phone in my pocket or whatever, or set it on the dryer, and I started picking up clothes, putting them in my phone rings, and it's Danielle. It was that fast. And I was like, I'm so sorry. Let me just start out. If you can't understand me, I'm sorry. I've lost my voice. We talked that first time probably 2 or 3 hours.
It was a long time.
It was a long time.
Yeah.
And within a week, we started working together. And then before you know it, she was here. She met me. She was a nervous wreck. So nervous that she acted in a way she never thought she would.
I can't even unpack.
And I didn't fuss at her. I didn't yell at her. I didn't say anything. I just said, I understand that you feel like you shouldn't be acting this way or doing that. But here we are, and that was it.
She gave me a lot of grace. A lot of grace.
Well, there was no reason not to. I mean, I wasn't like, I'm not the almighty. You know?
But that's one of the first times I felt in my life that I was given that grace. From somebody that I didn't really even know. I just came and was like, hey, we're going to wing this and see how it goes. And now we're here. So, which I'm so happy about. Question for you. Oh, how did you get your voice back?
Oh, okay. So while my mom was going through chemo, I was going to an ear, nose, and throat place. I don't want to say where. We'll just say ear, nose, and throat. But where I lived, there was only one. So that we'll just leave it at that, okay? And they would, every time I would go in, they would take a scope down my nose and down my throat. You know what I mean? Like, oh, God. And they would be like, breathe and swallow. I'd be like, let me stick. Yeah. I got something for you to breathe in. Okay. So anyways, they said, oh, you've got polyps on your throat, which is kind of interesting because my plant totem is a mushroom. Right?
Oh, yeah.
I'm a shaman, Cherokee Nation. Whoop, whoop. So anyways, yeah, I was like, okay, well, that makes sense. But I kept asking, what are they from? And they wouldn't tell me. So then, without doing any blood work, and after going, and they put me on antifungal medication for a year.
Oh my goodness, that's a long time.
That's a long time. So do you know what it does to your gut? I think that's one of the reasons I've been on the health struggle I've been on in the last 5 years. I mean, because this has been a while. So they told me that I had an unknown cancer. And I couldn't tell my mom because she was going through chemo. So I came home and I told my fiance at the time, now my husband. I told my brother. I contacted my lawyer so I could set up some things for my boys. And I was freaking out. And my cousin, Jessie, when we were growing up, I had leukemia. She had eczema all over her body. I thought hers was worse than mine. Okay. Anyway, she was like, what is up with you? I was like, I don't know. Nobody knows. She goes, why don't you go see this allergist? She said, I was working at a brewery, and one day I was just, I was stocking plates or cups or whatever. She said, and the next thing you know, I'm on the ground. I wake up in the hospital. I have a gluten intolerance, a wheat intolerance, and a barley intolerance. But she worked in a brewery. Wow. So,
she's breathing all
and
that
our family eats like everything that happened. We eat, and we were bread people. So, does that make sense? Like all this eczema she would eat a sandwich, she'd get eczema. We didn't know. Nobody knew to test for that. So I went and they did a full blood panel, and I cannot remember his name, but he's amazing. And he said he's from another country, and I think he's from Poland, to be honest with you. And he said, I hate to tell you this, but you don't have cancer. And I just started crying. And then my mom passed away, and he would make an antidote basically that fit your specific brand of allergies, and you would come in at first twice a week, then once a week, and get shots, and you build up immunity to them. And within the first 2 weeks, my voice came back.
Wow,
that's how it was pretty interesting.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Can we touch on real quick why the mushroom is your totem?
So
it's a great reason.
I love mushrooms to begin with, and that's actually how my husband and I. That's what got him. That's what made him go, this is the girl for me. I did not know that at the time. But mushrooms, as we know, come from decomposing matter. Mm-hmm. So I think that I've always been fascinated with mushrooms, but even more so because you can come from shit and still be worthy to God. So that's why it's my totem. So my husband and I met on a dating website called Tinder.
Woo-woo, Tinder.
And on there, my name was Mushroom Tess, and he was like, so are you like into hallucinogenics or what, And I said, I have been. Why? He said, why is it Mushroom Tess? And I said, because there's good things that can come from decomposing matter. And that's when he realized. Oh. Yeah.
Wow.
By the way, on he's super like me on Tinder, and it said nothing serious, just fun.
Oh, look what that got you.
Yeah.
Bonus kids.
Mm-hmm. And a log cabin in the woods. So we're pretty happy. Yeah.
So you're out in the woods. What do you do for fun?
Usually don't frolic in the woods because I live on a hill.
Oh.
It's not a hill, it's a mountain. I mean, it's a hill to me, mountain to you.
Deep incline.
Steep incline.
Good glute workout.
So for fun, I hang out with the kids a lot. I love to learn. I love to read. I love to grow. For me personally, my fun time is watching documentaries, growing, teaching, things like that. Spending time with my husband and my kids, which is really, like cooking. I love cooking. So I think that's my answer there.
So there's so many good things going on in your life right now.
Oh, yeah.
What is a song that would describe this part of your life currently?
My life has changed so much, so many different times. It's hard to pinpoint one. There's a song by, I'm not going to say, Real Love Baby is what it, John, I can't remember. It was played at my wedding.
Oh, yeah.
And that would be it. I will definitely look it up. Or we can maybe post it with this.
Yeah. Or we can leave it in the comments of whatever we're listening to earlier. Yeah.
Yeah, but it's Real Love. It's John something or other, but it's Real Love is what it's called. It's one of my favorite songs. Yeah.
If you could, last question, if you could pick a sponsor for this podcast, what would it be and why?
FabFitFun.
Oh, tell us about that.
Yeah.
FabFitFun is a subscription box you get 4 times a year. It's for what you get in it. It's like dirt cheap. You know what I mean? And it's cheap enough to where as a single parent you could even swing it. You know what I mean? There's add-ons, there's unboxings, but the coolest thing is it's so easy. And it's something to look forward to. And it's not just like makeup and facial issues. I mean, I got like a cheese knife set, which I was really excited about.
I saw that.
Yeah. So I would definitely say FabFitFun. And then we can share the wealth. Like we can share discount codes. Things like that.
Tess just offered us a free box.
Yeah, they get free boxes.
Morgan and I are getting our free box. Maybe we'll
Yeah.
do a little unboxing video or something.
Absolutely. So FabFitFun all the way.
Awesome. Love that. Well, that wraps up our test day. I hope you guys learned a lot. Please send us your questions. We're on Instagram, Facebook at Some Say I'm Gifted. You can email us at somesayimgifted@gmail.com. And yeah, we'd love to hear what you have for us. We do read all of your comments, so definitely drop some on this video and this podcast. And yeah, let us know. But we love you guys. Thank you for having us.
Bye, y'all. Love yous.